This might end up being a giant mistake. Hey guys, so I decided that I'm going to be reading 2 books from authors who I've previously hated books from. Is this going to go well? Odds are no, but I have hope. So in the past, I really like to give authors a second chance. If I've read something from them and it didn't work for me, I like to try again. And there's been several cases in the past where I have absolutely hated a book from an author, but I read another book from them and I ended up loving it. Most recently being Tessa Bailey, who I had read 2 books from her previously and I hated both of them, and I was kind of like, okay, Tessa Bailey's just not for me anymore. But I gave it one more chance. I was like, let me try again. And last year, 2 of my favorite romances that I read were from Tessa Bailey. Another example, Holly Black. I read 2 books from Holly Black a long time ago, did not like both of them, but then The Cruel Prince came out and I ended up loving it. So I have 2 books here from 2 authors who I have read from before and did not like their books, but I'm not ready to give up on them. So the first author is Madeline Miller. You guys might remember I read Circe and I have an entire vlog going into all of my thoughts on that book. I just feel dumb. I just feel dumb. I'm kind of regretting every choice that I have made that has led up to this moment. Besties, I hate to tell you this, but I think it's boring. Like, no wonder all your siblings and your parents didn't give a fuck about you and like banished you to some island. It's because you were boring. Nothing happened. She just walked around her island endlessly for pages and pages and pages and pages and pages and talked about pigs, like doll. And it was a mess. It was a mess. But after reviewing the comments of that vlog, pretty much the majority of people told me to try again with The Song of Achilles. That there's a good chance that I will like this, even though I didn't like Circe. And then if I don't like this, then I can just fully decide Madeline Miller is not for me. So I will be reading The Song of Achilles, giving Miss Madeline Miller one more chance for me to understand why everyone loves her so much. And then the other author is going to be Shay Earnshaw. So a long time ago, I read The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw, which is a YA book. I think for the first half of the book, I was really bored. I wasn't enjoying it. A couple plot twists happened, which I did predict, and I was super tempted to DNF it. I didn't really like the romance at all. I didn't see any reason why the 2 characters liked each other. I was expecting it to be a lot more witchy than it was, and it really wasn't. And it just wasn't what I was expecting it to be. I really was disappointed by that book. I really didn't like it. I think that the concept was really great, but the execution just didn't work for me. However, Shay Earnshaw has now come out with, I think, her first adult book. This sounds so great. So this is the history of wild places. I feel like one of the reasons why I'm very confident in giving Shay Earnshaw another chance is because this is very different from the book that I had read from her. That was young adult. This is adult. I really like, if there's an author that I disliked a book from, I like trying a different book that is just completely in a different realm, that's completely different, whether it's an entirely different genre or a different age range. So these are the 2 books that I'm going to be reading in this vlog, and hopefully my experience with these authors goes a lot better than it did the first time. I'm gonna be starting A History of Wild Places first. So this is like an adult thriller mystery that has a little bit of a fantasy element to it. In this book, we're following this guy who has an ability where he's able to locate people by touching objects that they own. So he gets put on this case to find a missing person who is this famous children's book author who went missing. In his investigation, it leads him to this really like weird commune in the woods, and he ends up going missing. So I don't know, it just sounds like really interesting. I've heard great things about it, and I think it combines a lot of elements that I really like. I love thrillers that sort of are genre bends or that have some sort of like speculative or magical or just like some sprinkle of like another element to it. I also love cults, love a good cult story. So yeah, I'm gonna start this today. I'm very excited. I do have the audiobook checked out from the library, so I'm going to listen to that. So I am 50 pages into this, and so far I'm really enjoying it. The first section we're following, I don't know if he's the main character. So far there's a lot of perspectives, but we're following Travis, who is the one who has the ability to locate people, and so he traveled. Oh, hello. This is my parents' new dog. His name is Wyatt. Do you want to sit up there? He's so freaking little. You want to sit up here? That good? That good for you? Okay. So we traveled to this little town and he's trying to locate this missing author. And it's cool because as he's like finding different things that like were hers, he's able to see what she was doing in that moment. He found like a broken off piece of her charm bracelet and he was able to see like what happened when it broke off. So he's like following her trail and it like leads him to this little commune called Pastoral. And then it cuts to the perspective of 3 people who are in the commune of Pastoral. Theo, his wife Calla, and her sister Bee. And so there's a lot of perspectives. The audiobook is really good because it's a full cast, so I'm liking that. And I'm really enjoying this. But I wanted to show you guys, I got some birthday gifts here. So I got To Business of Blood by Kerrigan Byrne. I'm so excited to read this. Kerrigan Byrne is a historical romance author, but these are historical mysteries that she wrote that just sound really good. You guys know I really love these like Victorian mysteries. And in this one, she, I think, is hunting down Jack the Ripper, which like sounds amazing. This was sent to me from Karen, so thank you so much, Karen. Then we have Scarred by Emily Mcintyre, which I'm so excited to read. Emily Mcintyre is the author of Hooked, which is a romance I read last year and loved it. This is her next book. This is loosely inspired by The Lion King. So Scarred, it's about Scar, and it's a dark romance. This was sent to me by Tori from Novel Life. Very excited for that. And then the last one is And the Trees Crept In by Dawn Kerrigan. This is a horror book that I have been really wanting to read. Oh my god. Look at what? I didn't realize it had like mixed media inside. That's cool. This was sent to me from Megan, from Meg with Books. So yeah, very excited to get these little surprise birthday gifts. I'm 50% into this book now and I have theories, but I feel like there's a couple different like directions that it could go in. Since it does have like this magical, like this like slight magical element to it, I'm like, that opens up the possibilities of what could actually be like happening. So I definitely think that I'm gonna be able to finish this before tonight, within the next couple of hours. Because like, I just really want to figure out what's gonna happen. I've realized that I read thrillers and like mystery books very quickly. I feel like I can't put the book down until I know what happens. And if I don't finish it quick enough, I have this really bad habit of spoiling things for myself because I don't really care much about spoilers. And like almost every show or movie that I watch, I Google spoilers before I even watch it. Like I just don't care. I just want to know what happens. So with thrillers, I try so hard not to. But the longer the book takes me to read, the more tempted I am to do that. So I just need to finish this book tonight and then we'll see. Also, oh my god, okay, this is totally unrelated, but I bought this new foundation. It's the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. This is amazing. The people who made this foundation are wizards. They're wizards. Someone needs to check in on them because they are conducting magic. Like, I don't know. I never usually wear foundation because it never looks good on my skin. Like, it always makes my skin look gross. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, foundation just doesn't sit well on my skin. But this, like, it just, oh, it looks so good. I don't think I'm gonna do, like, a full face of makeup today. But I bought a bunch of new makeup for my birthday because I never buy new makeup. Like, I just wear the same stuff that I have been for years. Someone's outside my door. Yep. Aww. All the dogs were in here at one point napping with me on the bed. Oh. I forgot I was filming for a second. I totally forgot what I was talking about before she came in here. Do I want to do anything else? This setting spray is also amazing. I wore this the other day when I had to go out and I was wearing a mask almost the entire day. My makeup did not budge. And I guess I'll do mascara and call it a day. There we go. My no makeup makeup. All right, I have finished A History of Wild Places. I'm so conflicted with how I feel about this. Like, okay, let me just get all my thoughts out. and we'll figure this out together because I do not know how I feel. I think that there was a lot of really interesting elements. Like I mentioned, we're following 3 perspectives of people who are part of this commune, and basically no new people have come into the commune and nobody has left for 10 years because there's this disease called the rot, and if they leave the boundaries of Pastoral, their little community, they will be infected with the rot, and it's like a disease from the trees outside of their border. And it's really interesting throughout the book because like you're kind of wondering, okay, is the rot real? Is it like, are they being lied to about the rot? It kind of reminded me of the M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Village. And like slowly the 3 perspectives that we're following are starting to realize that things just aren't adding up. Things that they've been told and what they believe just doesn't make sense. And I really enjoyed it. Like the reading experience, I really enjoyed it. Like at no point was I not liking what I was reading. I think the reason why I'm conflicted is because I don't necessarily like the ending or like how everything wrapped up. There was sort of like 3 levels to the plot twist. One of them I figured out, but I really loved. I loved that element of the plot twist. Another one I was surprised by, and I also loved. The last element I hated. The last element I hated. And that's where my like conflict, I guess, comes from, because I don't know if it was, like, I don't know. I just don't love how it was necessarily wrapped up or explained. I also feel like one of the big draws for me for this book was the fact that one of the characters, Travis, had this ability, like this little magical ability where he could touch objects and he could see memories attached to that object. Like it was introduced in the beginning and then it just went away. Like, and then it was never explained. So I'm like, what was the point? What was the point of that? Because that was so interesting. That was like the most interesting aspect of the book. And I don't understand. Like that's literally the first thing you read about in the synopsis. So you have to know like that's the draw. That's the reason people are picking up this book. And then it goes absolutely nowhere. There was like no, wait, what was the point? What was the point? I'm still wondering. I don't know what the point was. I don't know. I'm conflicted. I feel like I'm leaning with like, see, I still enjoyed the book. So it's kind of like one of those situations where I really enjoyed the book, I didn't love the ending. So does that make the whole reading experience not worth it? I really don't know how I feel. I want to say that this was 4 stars, but I just sat here and talked about everything I didn't like. I think I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. I just feel like 4 stars is too high. Normally, I wouldn't let the ending of a book change my opinion that much about the book as a whole, but I feel like when it comes to thrillers and mystery books, the ending is like the most important part, right? So 4 stars just feels too high for a mystery book that I didn't like the ending to. So I think I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. Like, it was a good book. I recommend it. It was entertaining. It was a fun time. I loved the cult pastoral community. I also really, really liked that all of the chapters were very, very short. So like you're switching POVs between the 3 main characters every couple of pages. I really like that. I hate long chapters. So it's a very quick book to get through. Also, it's cool because throughout it, you're getting little excerpts of the children's book that Maggie, the girl who went missing, you get excerpts of the children's book that she wrote. Yeah, 3.5 stars feels good. Like, this is not a bad book. It's entertaining. I recommend picking it up if it sounds like it's interesting to you. I'm now realizing that these are almost the exact same opinions that I had for The Wicked Deep. Like, concept, great. It was entertaining, awesome, but it was disappointing and not exactly what I was expecting. That's like the exact same review that I gave The Wicked Deep. So maybe I'm just discovering Shay Earnshaw is like not for me. Although I still feel like I would give her another chance. Like if she writes another adult book similar to this, I feel like I would try it again because I don't hate this. So I don't know. This is one of those like rare moments where I just have like very mild opinions about this book. So I'm reading The Song of Achilles today. I started it this morning. I have no thoughts on it yet, but The weirdest thing just happened to me. So my friend, who's like not in the book world at all, recently he's been like getting more into reading, so he asks me for like book recommendations every once in a while. And randomly this morning he texted me and was like, how's the Song of Achilles? I swear to God, he's a mind reader. Something is happening. I don't think he like follows my book accounts or anything. He might, but like I haven't posted anywhere that I've started reading this book today. So that there's no way that he would have known I'm currently reading this. So random. Like when I got that text, I had to sit there and stare at it for a long time. Because I was like, can he see me? Is he here right now? Like, what? Yeah, I've only read 20 pages. So I have no update on the book yet. I just thought that was so bizarre. All right, so it's been a week and I have been struggling. It took me a week to read the first 40 pages. However, we have had some progress. Erin has been doing some reading sprints for the past hour and I've been watching them and doing the sprints, and I'm now 200 pages into this. I'm flying through it now. And I remembered that Circe took me a really long time to read the beginning. Honestly, Circe took me forever to read. I think I was reading that book for a month. So I was really worried that this was gonna take me just as long, and I'm like, oh my God, I wanna get this video up before January is over. But I'm flying through it now. These sprints are really helping. I don't know why I always forget that reading sprints work. They just like, when I'm reading, they don't cross my mind to do them unless I like see something or like I see someone doing them live. My brain just doesn't automatically think to do it, but they work. So my thoughts so far, this already has way more plot than Circe did. I'm really loving seeing Patroclus and Achilles, like their childhood, and so far that's what I have read. The part that I stopped at right now, they just arrived onto the beach shoreline of Troy. So like the war is just now starting, which I'm not excited by because the Trojan War honestly is just really boring. I've always found it boring in like every version that I've read or watched. It's just dull because they're there for years when nothing happens. So I'm curious to see if it's gonna be more interesting in here or if the pace is about to slow down a lot. But I'm really loving Patroclus as the narrator. I love him so much. I definitely think that if this was from Achilles' point of view, I would not be enjoying it at all because I don't like Achilles. So yeah, I think Erin is about to start another 30-minute sprint in a couple minutes. So I'm gonna do another sprint. Ooh, we're gonna meet Briseis soon. Okay, no, now I'm excited because we're gonna meet Briseis. She is my queen. All right, I read for another 30 minutes and I'm now on page 270. We've met Briseis. I love her. I think that I have a Greek mythology retelling from her point of view. Hold on, I'm gonna try to find it. I think it's this one. The Silence of the Girls. This might be from Briseis' point of view. I'm not sure. Yeah, so this is from Briseis' point of view. Ooh, oh my God. Now I'm like really excited to read this. I know I've had this book for so long and I don't know why that I've always put it off. Maybe that is why, because I love Briseis so much and Greek mythology like retellings are very much a hit or miss for me. Oh my God, this might have to be my next read. Okay, we're gonna see how I feel about this when I'm done. But like, I'm infinitely more excited for this now. If there's anything that can make the Trojan War interesting to me, it's following Briseis' perspective. So yeah. More thoughts. The pace has definitely slowed down a lot now that we're into the Trojan War. But again, like I just don't like the Trojan War. I don't find it interesting. And I knew that going into this. So it's also not terrible. As much as I don't find the Trojan War interesting, like it's just dudes on a beach. That's all it is. Dudes on a beach for a really long time. But following it from Patroclus' perspective is definitely more interesting than if we were following Achilles. So there's that. Okay, so I have less than 100 pages left. I'm just gonna take a quick little break to have lunch and then come back, and if Erin is still doing sprints, I'm gonna try to bang out the last 100 pages during that time, and I will come back with my final thoughts. I have finished the Song of Achilles. I don't know how I feel about this. Okay, we're gonna talk about my thoughts again. I'm conflicted. I definitely enjoyed this way more than Cersei, way more. The plot was better, the pacing was better, it was far more interesting. I was actually entertained the whole time that I was reading it. It didn't feel like a chore, whereas Cersei felt like such a chore to read. It's possible that that had to do with the fact that I just know more about this story than I did about Cersei's story, but again, like I think that book was just so dull. And this was actually interesting, I was invested. However, my critique about this is that the book completely hinges on the romantic relationship between Patroclus and Achilles. That is like the focal point of the book. That is where all of the emotional beats lie. That's where the character development is. The lens that we're seeing this story through is through their love story. And I did not like them together. I did not like them together. I didn't ship them. I didn't find it romantic. Achilles is a gigantic walking red flag. He was terrible. I really did not like him in this book, and I'm trying to remember if I ever liked Achilles or if I have always just been blinded by how hot Brad Pitt was in Troy. It could be a combination of both, but in this book I feel like it just really highlighted how toxic he was. And so because of that, and because I didn't feel their romantic connection with each other, all of the emotional beats of the book, the ending of the book, the heartbreaking moments, like I just did not feel them. There was definitely one thing at the end that made me tear up a little bit, but I don't know, I feel like the thing that everyone talks about with this book is this like epic love story, this heartbreaking love story between them, and that was the last thing that I cared about because of my dislike of Achilles. And there was one moment when Briseis even tells Achilles, like, you did not deserve him. And I'm like, you tell him, queen. I really loved the connection between Patroclus and Briseis, like their friendship. I really enjoyed that. And even though like I knew the way that the story ended, I was like rooting for them to run away together and like just get away from Achilles, because I just really enjoyed their like friendship and their bond. Another pro, the writing was fantastic. That was one thing from Cersei that I did enjoy. Like I could tell that Madeline Miller was a great writer, and I feel like it was highlighted even more in this. Like she is a really great writer, and I really enjoyed this. I think I'm giving it 4 stars. I feel like my hesitation is just that I think that the reasons why I enjoyed this book from my perspective seem to be very different than why most other people enjoyed this book. Maybe I'm just misinformed, but like all the reviews that I've looked at, all the reviews that I've seen, literally everyone talks about what a great love story it is, and I just don't agree with that. I think it's a great Trojan War retelling. I loved being in Patroclus's head, but as far as like an epic love story, I don't know. I don't know about that. I am giving it 4 stars, but I think that it's not nearly as good as people make it out to be. Like it's not this like life-changing thing. It was great. It was good. Oh my God, she's from Cambridge? She's from the same town as me. I didn't know that. I would definitely read more from her, like whatever she writes next. I think I saw that she's writing a Persephone retelling, but like not a romantic one, which I'm excited to see that. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I'm glad that I read it. I'm giving it 4 stars. I'm really glad that I ended up enjoying this, because when I started it, I was really worried that I was gonna end up hating it, and then the conclusion of this video was just gonna be that I have the exact same opinions about these authors that I already did. So from both books that I read, I think we have a positive outcome. I would read whatever the next book is that both of these authors put out. So they have been redeemed for me. Even though I wasn't obsessed with A History of Wild Places, I just thought it was okay. I would definitely read Shay Earnshaw's next book. I'm gonna read Madeline Miller's next book. So like this was a successful second chance vlog. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!